Okay, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. So, it's been 2 weeks since I last spoke to you all, and it's been an interesting few weeks. I graduated, I escaped from college, that's a good thing, and it's been an interesting few. How do I put this? Like, wow, it's been an interesting few couple of weeks. So today I'm actually going to be doing a visualizer for a new and upcoming artist, Zeal. That's Zile. And I'm going to be doing the visualizer for her song Used to Be. I do have permission to do this, so I'm just going to import. Just gonna import these things. Let's see what's happened in the past 2 weeks. Since I've spoken to you guys. Uh, let's see. Graduation. I'm moving again, so that's interesting. Yeah, I'm moving again. So just downloading the MP3. And there it is. So just gonna move it to the folder and everything. I actually did a new illustration that I'm also working on. Um, what you're hearing right now is Used to Be by Zeal. Yeah, she actually sounds like this. So we're just gonna go to Documents. And I'm just gonna switch that out with the actual thing. So right now what I'm just doing is getting a good listen of the song, figuring out where the bass is, seeing where I can add interesting things to the video. I'm thinking of doing very abstract visualizer with a responding waveform just to give people something to look at while we're doing this. So a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is off screen, mostly because there's a lot of files here that are private. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna make the background at this moment for the video. So the reason it stopped is simply this: I moved the file, so I'm just gonna go back and get that file. And that's gonna be on loop for the majority of the video. You can find Zeal on Instagram and YouTube. It's the same name, Zeal underscore JD. That's ZILE underscore JD. And that's what we're looking at today. So now we're making the background. I'm just gonna hit to make it completely black. And I'm gonna use a lot of smoke effects for this because Zeal's current theme for this year is Phoenix. So if you look at the hashtag Phoenixing, you'll see a lot of stuff from her. And we're gonna do it in the actual blue, so I'm gonna overlay this. I've got my favorite brushes. And I'm thinking perhaps maybe I'll make a smoke visualizer. This isn't allowing me to go any higher than 5,000. So that's about as big as I can get with this brush. So what I'm gonna do is control that, Shift Alt, and make that bigger. And I'm just trying to get a good overlay of brushes. And getting that nice background on it. So I have a selection of smoke brushes here. You can get them for free online. And what I'm gonna do with these is I'm just gonna create a ripple effect. So this is actually gonna be bigger. So do that. And now I'm just gonna Control J that to make it brighter. Going over with the effects, and that's gonna be outer glow. I'm gonna turn down the opacity, increase the spread, change the color, and then we're gonna put this below. So that's what it looks like. Also gonna go Control J on this one as well and put it above. Turn the opacity of this layer down. And turn the opacity of this layer down as well. So now that we have these three layers, this is gonna create a very interesting effect in After Effects. I'm not really at the point where I want to be with this. Which is to say that this being the stream, I'm still working some kinks out. I'm going to be moving again in a short while. So there's that. I know I moved just a few months ago. Many of you were there for the move and all the hijinks and everything that came with. Zeal has a very R&B feel to her, so I'm not quite sure what I want to go for here. And let's see. Alright, so I'm opening After Effects now. What you're looking at is Photoshop. I'm hoping that Streamlabs won't give me any trouble today. If it does, you guys aren't going to be able to see, and I'm going to have to change what I want to do for today. So I'm hoping Streamlabs will be my best behaved boy today. So I'm gonna hit new project. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Adobe After Effects Creative Cloud, all the programs basically work together, so you can import all file types. You don't really have to worry about anything. So let's see. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually take the composition out, and I'm going to create a new composition. So I'm doing all of this off stream so you guys can look at the pretty Photoshop image while I'm doing this. And we go to music and we import it. And when you're importing music to After Effects, it's gonna say import as footage. Don't really worry about that. Yeah. Don't worry about that any at all. That's just After Effects default import function. You won't be able to import it as anything else other than footage. So it's not a point. I know that becomes like a panic point for new users. Like, why does it say footage? It's not footage, it's this, that, and that. It's just After Effects default way of dealing with things. Okay, so After Effects is giving me a bit of an issue right now. I am going to transition, and that's where I'm right now. You guys can't actually see the composition, it's right here. I'm gonna try and undock the panel. Hopefully undocking it will make it easier for Streamlabs to work with it as a different file. So this is what I'm gonna give you guys to look at while I'm figuring out the After Effects transition. I'm kind of annoyed right now because I did work this out about 3 hours prior to this, and now it's giving me a whole issue. So I'm just gonna and we're gonna do I'm still having this issue. This is actually reminding me of the very first day I started to stream. Essentially what happened was the same thing but with Photoshop. Okay, so I think After Effects is working now. Seems to be working, so I'm just gonna grab that and I'm gonna transition now. So, we fixed our little After Effects issue. Yay! Now, I have my composition out here. When you first open After Effects, your composition will be in this area right here. I only have it like this because Streamlabs seems to have a problem with it when it's, or seems to have a problem locating the source of it when it's actually docked into a panel. So if you are streaming and you have issues finding your windows, you can always undock them. Streamlabs will pick them up as different windows. So what I've already done here, for those of you who are new to After Effects, is I went to File, I went down to Import, File, and I imported the music. I dragged the music down here to get the composition. And what I'm going to do now to create the After Effects reaction is I'm going to right click on it, go to Keyframe Assistant, and you're going to hover over Keyframe Assistant and have Convert Audio to Keyframe. What that's going to do is it's going to give you the audio amplitudes as a series of keyframes, and it will give you the left channel, the right channel, and both channels. Now, if you've ever listened to music through headphones, most people have, some sounds come through the left ear and the right ear depending on the song you're listening to. And so After Effects is capable of identifying that in a stereo recording and separating them into left and right channels. From what I can see here, I don't believe that the left and the right channel are separate, and from what I can hear through my headphones, I believe that this is the same on both channels, and so I'm not really concerned about that right now. So now that I have the audio amplitude, what I'm going to do is go back into Photoshop. I'm going to transition you guys back to Photoshop, and I'm just testing now, so I'm going to save this. And saving it as test file, just doing some tests and saving. And now what I'm going to do is import that Photoshop file that we just worked on out of the original pictures. So when importing a Photoshop or an Illustrator document, you're going to get more options in the Import As option. You can't see it now because I'm not using display capture, but you're going to see footage, composition, retain layer sizes, and composition. For a Photoshop file, you want composition, retain layer sizes. You can create composition, and Photoshop sequences are for if you created a series of images out of Photoshop. For example, you created a GIF, whichever way you want to pronounce that, or you created an animation in Photoshop. You can import the individual frames into After Effects by using Photoshop sequences. But we're not going to use that right now. We're only using composition, retain layer sizes, and have create composition checked, and just click import. So a file window is going to come up. It's going to be import kind, and it's going to be composition, retain layer sizes. The layer options are editable layer styles, and I just hit my tablet so it disconnected. Give me 1 second. So you're going to have editable layer styles and merge layer styles into footage. You're going to leave it on editable layer styles and click OK. And as you can see now, we have a whole new Photoshop file and its composition available to us. So it has solids, that's your audio amplitude, and the test file layers are right here. You can just drag the test file composition in by itself. And okay, so I'm not actually seeing anything here, so I'm wondering if perhaps it's too small. So I'm gonna put fit up to 100%, and there we go. So sometimes when you import things from Photoshop or After Effects and any other file, the sorry, there we go. It finally loaded. It can be way too small. So what I'm gonna do right now is, before I even link it up to the audio, what we want to do is test some effects. So what I wanted to do with this is test the wave warp on each layer. And so wave warp has different directions. If I hit play, there should be a layer that warps in here. I'm actually going to close Photoshop now. I believe it's taking up some of my processing power. And we'll see what's going on. Alright. So my stream dropped something just now. I'm not sure what happened there, but I brought it back into focus. So right now it's rendering. It's a little bit slow, so I'm going to bring down the resolution from full to about a third. And then press play again. That's hitting the space bar in this instant. And I am hoping that will work in time for the stream. I'm not quite sure what that dot is. I think it's the selection. But while that's processing, I'm going to go over here. So you can see the Photoshop file has less time than the actual song itself. So one thing we're definitely going to do is click the Photoshop composition, go to composition settings, and we're going to increase it to, right now it's 2 minutes. The song itself is 3 minutes and 11 seconds. So I'm going to increase the Photoshop file to 3 minutes and 30 seconds just so that we have some extra to work with. So the duration is going to be 3 and 30. And you're going to put that in the duration bar. It's all the way at the bottom of the composition settings menu. And we click OK. So now when we go back to reference, you'll see this out here. We can now grab this and pull it all the way out. And 3 minutes and 30 seconds actually exceeds that. So what I can do is I can do that, drag it all the way to the end, and then set it back. So now our Photoshop file is longer than the music, and we have some extra visuals to work with. Our file seems to be super zoomed in here, so we're going to put back to fit. And we're going to go back to the test file and see what gives. So right now it's on rendering for a third. And let's see. Alright, so I'm assuming that's a processing issue, so I'm not even going to mind it too much. I'm going to go down to this layer and delete the effect. delete the test file and come down here. Now delete. I just realized that in order to do what I wanted to do, I'm going to have to work with these layers individually. So I'm going to shift them, bring them down into the actual thing, and have all the layers there. Since I'm going to move them, it's not that important to me what they're doing. So I'm just going to delete the background because the default video layer is black. Gonna go down to here to fit and gonna select all these layers, hit scale and scale them down. Now it's good to have it a little bit bigger than the actual composition so that you don't have a weird distortion of any effects you add to it at the edges of the video. And I'm just gonna do a quick tutorial on how to get these images to react. So already I showed you how to do the audio amplitude. I'm just going to repeat what that is, which is use the reference, right click on it, go to keyframe assistant, and then click convert audio to keyframes. From here, you open this up, and I'm going to just delete the left and the right channels because I don't need them. And for both channels here on this slider, I'm going to alt click. And that's going to open up my expressions panel. I say alt because I'm on a PC. If you're on a Mac, this is option. Yes, this is option. And what you can do here is, in terms of this one, I want the effect to be wave warp. So I'm just going to grab wave warp distortion and play it on this layer. And so in effects, under wave warp, I'm gonna go probably speed. So I'm gonna alt click speed and that expression is there. I'm gonna scroll up. Usually I would type in the expression itself, but I'm just gonna come down here and just drag it right on. That's the easiest way to make the expression. Whoops, wrong way. Nope, right way. I'm just gonna make these little guys shy, hit the shy layer so I can only work with that. And oh, I forgot. Since I have this undocked, I can pull this up and it won't have any adverse reactions to the size of that. We're just gonna drop that there. So now wave warp is affecting that, and I'm gonna test this. And the reason that happened just now was I forgot I need to turn off the background music for this. So I'm gonna turn off the background music. And we're gonna scroll down and try that again. And third, play again. And what's happening now is in here you can see this tiny minuscule speck of green. This is the rendering. Well, it's indicating the amount of rendering that's been done. I believe this is happening because I'm streaming and running After Effects and the music at the same time. And I believe Discord is also open. So I'm just going to close some programs. Give my computer less stuff to complain about. Gonna make you smaller because you're annoying me. Oh, it actually has small screen. Well, that's a moot point now. Alright. So I'm not seeing any reaction from this, so what I'm gonna do is unshine these layers. Gonna turn off every layer except the one I'm looking at. And hit scale on that. Turns out this layer was actually really, really small. That's why I'm not seeing anything. So I'm gonna check the other layers, and all these layers are actually quite small, which is interesting. So I'm gonna give that some time to load, and we'll see what will happen. But basically, the dragging of the expression from the audio amplitude via the whip right here to that is how you get any reaction. It's just a correlation. It's a piece of scripting that allows for After Effects to know produce this effect whenever or in relation to or in proportion to whatever is happening in this layer. So as long as you use that, you'll be able to get After Effects to do any effect, scaling, opacity, reaction to an effect. I'll be right back. And I'm just gonna leave the music playing. Okay, and I'm back. So what I want to do for this, it's not working, so I'm not even gonna try to figure out what's wrong since I'm on stream. I'm just gonna scrap it and go again. New, I'm gonna create a new shape layer or a new mask layer. So a new shape layer, hit that. And now that I have a brand new shiny shape layer, there we go. I'm gonna take the tool, and this is gonna be an ellipse. And then switching my tools, I'll move it to the center. Now what I'm gonna do for the stroke is press Alt. It's gonna do a bunch of stuff to the stroke. I want the fill to be empty. The stroke is normal. And what I want with the stroke is... can do a lot of things with this. So I can do the starting point, the end point. We'll see. Alright, so I'm gonna stop talking now so you guys can just enjoy the video. Any important points I'll bring up again, but it's really hard for me to concentrate and talk at the same time. What I might do is do a voiceover. And I want the workspace to be alright. And that should be good. Alright, so let's go back to this. And blur, new, solid. Let's make that solid. I'm gonna work with blue, like a darkish blue. And I'll edit that later. And in terms of that, I'm gonna hit audio waveform. Now, audio waveform is an effect in After Effects. You can do whirls, all that stuff. I'm gonna do mono. And the whole point of using audio waveform is that it works really great with the audio amplitude. So, I'm just gonna move this up so I can see what the hell is going on down here. And let's see. I'm just experimenting right now. Alright, so let's see. Here. Let's get into the solid and see what I can do here. So the audio layer is definitely that one. And we just want that. Just figuring stuff out. No, what I'm looking for now is the frequency option. And we're just gonna do that. We're gonna come into here, and I believe, nope. I'm just gonna put source. Maybe I should make it this layer. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. So you see now it's reacting. I'm gonna put this on a path later, so we'll see. And reset. And I think what I'll do is I'll just overlay these. So I want the maximum height to be much higher than that. So I'm gonna put it at around 500. Maybe 1000. There we go. That looks better. I'm gonna up that thickness so that it's there. Turn the softness all the way down or up. I'm not actually sure what that does, but let's leave it at 50 then. I'm just gonna leave it at mono. Okay, so I like digital. This one looks really interesting. So it turned the whole solid into that, which is really good. So the maximum height is that. Thickness is that. Starting point, end point. That's all good. Now, this is audio waveform, so let's go audio again. So I like this effect. I'm gonna try another one. So what I'm gonna do is copy this solid. Edit, copy, edit, paste. Turn that off. Delete the effect on this, and I'm gonna try another one called Audio Spectrum. Now, Audio Spectrum is like a more advanced version of audio waveform. If we come in here and we change it to used to be lyrics, you'll see that it does a whole lot more. But the advantage of Audio Spectrum is that you have the start frequency and the end frequency. And what that is that it determines which of these it's going to react to. So if I turn down start frequency, it reacts to a whole lot. Whoops, I turned it up. I was trying to turn it down to 0 or 1. If I turn up the end frequency or turn down the end frequency, it reacts to a whole lot less. Reset. And these are just different ways you can get stuff to react. You can go to thickness, you can go to interpolation, analog lines, which if I scroll through, you will see like a slight trembling in the lines. Does that. And then the same softness and thickness, the only real difference is that you have now these frequency options. So if I go back to digital, I can go up here, turn that down. So what I like to do here is I am adjusting now to get like a really good. So there we go. Now the maximum height, if I increase this and I stop playing, I increase this to like 1000, and I really like 1000. You can see that this goes up a lot more. The thickness I'm gonna leave, and as you can see, it jumps in. If I go side A, only that part goes up. If I go side B, only the bottom part shows up. And you can do both. If I go lines, then that happens. Side B, side A. And then if you have side B and A, you get those zigzag lines that I'm sure everybody knows as your heartbeat line from heartbeat monitors. And you can also, let's see, overlap these two effects. So now you can get stuff like and now that one reacts much more strongly. That's still in source. If I change this to a different color, the outside color can be blue as well. And let's change that back. I'm gonna actually reset this. Go back to the blue. Blue again. Actually, let's do that blue. And up that thickness. If I go side A and B and I do the analog lines, and now you can overlap them like that. Okay. Oh, hi. Hi, Tony. um, okay, I can start explaining because I'm pretty sure you're not the only lost one. So, essentially, what I'm doing right now is I'm creating a visualizer for the artist Zeal. She's a new and upcoming singer, and this is her song Used to Be. So, hold on a sec. These colors are annoying me. So, in terms of how this works is I'm creating the visualizer just so. Earlier I showed how to do or rather I was trying to show how to do it using the Photoshop files and expression. So I'm actually going to drag those in and go back into here. And I was using audio amplitude to do it. So what we're gonna do now is I'm just gonna hide that background and I'll start over from scratch. It's not that hard to do. So what you do is in Adobe After Effects, you import all your files. And for the first way to create graphics that... Oh, hi Ray! Thank you! I'm glad to be back. It's been an interesting 2 weeks. Emphasis on the interesting. But I am doing well. Thank you. And thank you for earlier on Discord today, too. I read it right before I went on, but because I was preparing, I didn't get to write my thank you, so I'm doing my thank you on air. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, so I'm actually going over 3 different ways to create responding graphics on After Effects. I am actually going back to the beginning now because I had some issues with getting Photoshop and the expressions to work, so I just moved on to showing how audio waveform and audio spectrum work. But if we go back to the beginning, I can probably get it to work now since After Effects is out of its feelings and it will help me along. I'm not sure if it is, I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Tony. Actually, I noticed I noticed Raven because I was looking at your I was looking at your comment and her comment popped up while I was reading yours. So you can say I noticed Raven because I was reading yours. I'm sorry, Tony. Oh, my love. Tony's upset with me. But yeah, I had some issues at the beginning of the stream. After Effects did the same thing it did on my very first stream, where it didn't want to show up in Streamlabs for some strange, unknown reason. I'm gonna give Tony a heart. I'm gonna give him a special decorative heart. There we go. Love you, Tony. So as I was saying, there's 3 ways you can get graphics to react to music in After Effects. Or let me not say only 3 ways, there's 3 ways that I know of. There is expressions, which is the most powerful. However, there's a learning curve to it. And then there's audio waveform and audio spectrum, which are basically made for this. You only need the music and a solid to get those to work. I'm going back to the expressions one. And this is probably the easiest way to do expressions, meaning that you don't have to learn any of the syntax. So if I go here and I come, that's effects and presets, I'm going to type in wave because I'm going to use wave warp. I'm going to just drop it on this one. And I don't know what that is. So I'm actually just gonna delete the background layer, delete this layer, and what's going on? Yay. Thank you for forgiving me. Yay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna delete these and work with one file just to make sure we know what's going on. I can add the others later. So this is the file. I'm using Wave Distort. I'll probably go back and separate all of these. No, sorry, Wave Warp, not Wave Distort. It's a distortion effect, so I always get the name mixed up. Wave Warp is it's actually one of my favorite After Effects effects. It's kind of like a default one, and it's really useful in creating water effects if you want if you want a really easy way in After Effects to make things look like they're rippling or blowing in the breeze. Wave Warp is the effect for you. I'm just going to go through what it does. You can choose the type of wave. This is probably the only place where graphs in mathematics... No, that's a lie. In After Effects, graphs in mathematics helps you a lot. So there is the different types of graph. There's a triangle, sawtooth, and what you're seeing here in the different distortions is the shape of the wave. If I go to 90, you'll see this is the circle graph. Most of us will stick to the sine wave because it's the wave that we see most often in nature. It's the wave that controls ripples in water, ocean waves move in sine waves, and cosine waves. There's smooth noise, where I have to do this. So that's kind of just like a distortion, like a general distortion. I'm actually going to use not square, but triangle, because it looks nice. Or rather, I think it looks nice. I'm lying, I'm just going to experiment till I find something that I like. And then wave height is exactly what it does. It controls the amplitude, in this case, height of the wave. So let me use a sine wave so you can actually see what this is. So the higher the height is, the higher or the deeper the ripples are. So you can control those. If you put it really, really lowly and put it on a piece of cloth, you can get a really nice cloth blowing in the breeze effect. If you feel like being a lazy animator, this is the place to be. Thank you, Rave. I like experimenting with art. It comes out really, really. It's fun, and you never know what you're gonna get. Wave width is the same as wave height, except it goes in the other direction. If you want to kind of flatten your wave, this is the thing that you do. So a low height but a high width will give you a really flat wave. In fact, if you put both of those to 0, if you put that to 0 and that to 100, that's a real nice way of getting a straight line. Sorry. If you put them both close to 50, you get your standard sine wave. I'm actually going to reset this so that you get there. The direction, 90 degrees, is essentially that, just the direction. If you are at 0, it's the effect of going straight up. If you are at 180 degrees, it's the effect of going straight down. So it's the direction of your wave. Because these are smoke lines, I'm actually going to have these at 0 because smoke will be traveling up. And I might create an expression to have the direction change because smoke moves in its own sort of sine waves. It's also affected by the viscosity of the medium it's coming through, which is basically a fancy way of saying, depending on how thick the gas that it's going through is, smoke moves differently. I don't say liquid as a medium because you need some really, really heavy smoke to deal with that. The speed is just that. How fast is your wave moving? So if I increase this, it's going to go all the way up. And pinning is really, really good. So this image is actually larger than the composition, so you won't really see the effects of pinning, but if you make I wouldn't call it a mistake, but if your images or your graphics are the same size as your composition, sometimes when you add wave distort, and actually, I think if I hit scale and I take this down, so if you check the edges right here, and I hit play, well, it's black so you can't really see it. That's the whole purpose of making the background black. But with other images, it's actually distorting the whole composition. So the edges right here are actually rippling. If you have a composition that you don't want rippling like that, then pinning is what you want. So you can do all edges, which will pin the edges. Center pins it from the actual center of the image. Left edge, top edge, right edge, bottom edge. Horizontal edges and vertical edges. Because compositions are rectangles, these are kind of all you need. All edges means that it pins it from everywhere. Center, top, left, right, bottom, inside, and out. So I'm just going to put none because that's not really something I want to worry about. Phase. Okay, so phase is sort of hard to explain. How do I put it? Phase is hard to explain in the way that if you haven't studied math, it might confuse you. But essentially, what it is the time of the wave. So right now, this wave is starting from 0 and going out. If I duplicate this layer, so I'm gonna duplicate this layer, edit, and we want to go copy, edit, paste, and I'm just gonna hit position, move it to the left right there, and just so that it doesn't annoy my eyes, I'm gonna move it 90. It's annoying my eyes, but let's Control Z. I'll leave it at 90 so you guys can see what phase actually does. Phase is essentially time. So if I move this to 90 degrees, is it 90? Let me move it to 30. So when I hit play on this, you'll see that, okay, 30 is not a big enough difference for you to see it. I'm gonna go to 90. Or maybe 180 will put it on the complete opposite path. Okay, so if you look closely right here, this wave is facing this wave. That's because this wave is currently moving 180 degrees behind the other. So in a full cycle, or it's a point on the cycle, in a full cycle of the wave, in the very next full cycle of this is here, you'll see that they've completely changed positions. This is now facing out and this is now facing in. So you play it and they're actually going at different, completely 180 opposite directions or speeds. Nope, I'm searching for the word. Really the word is phases, but they're at opposite points on the same wave. So this wave is at its highest point when this wave is at its lowest point. And that's about all the physics and Paxes. What is this sorcery? Yeah. I'm glad you're taking notes, Tony. That's what I like that. Yay. Anti-aliasing. Now this right here is what's gonna stop your image from looking pixelated. At least that's what I believe it's for. It says anti-aliasing best quality. If I put it at high, it should kind of snap this so that it's very sharp. And I have now confirmed that is exactly what it's for because my computer just threw a tantrum. So I'm gonna put that back on low. And the reason that's happening is because I accidentally moved this little guy. What this bar is it allows you to section off areas of your timeline. Your timeline is this entire thing right here, so that you can only work and play within that area. It's really, really useful if you have extremely large or long compositions. For example, 5 minutes. If you're only dealing with a 10-second section of a 5-minute composition, you don't necessarily want to be playing the whole 5 minutes over and over again. But this is what Wave Warp does, so I'm gonna just delete the top one and we're working with that. So moving to the triangular graph, I'm gonna make the height there. I'm increasing the width all the way up. And the direction is 0. I already adjusted that. Turn down the wave speed. Alright, so that's what that looks like now. I'm not really sure I like triangle, sawtooth. Semicircle. And now you can, since I increased the width of the wave, you can now clearly see the shape of the wave. Uncircle is kind of like actual arcs. And noise, and then smooth noise. I'm gonna keep it on noise and keep it there. But how is lock people? Oh, the lock people are actually doing quite nicely. I did some research on rubber hose animation over the past 2 weeks, so you will be seeing them again soon. I wanted to redo the run animation because I thought it was quite dry, meaning that there was no emotion to the run. It was kind of just the basic default run. So I wanted to give some personalities to the run. So you'll be seeing them soon. Don't worry about them. Sometime within the next 2 weeks, probably. So now that I have that, I'm going to go back to project. I'm going to grab, this is layer 2 test file. So I'm just going to drag another one down. Or no, let's work with the other effect. So I have the audio amplitude from this song. I'm going to delete it and just show you guys how I made that for those of you who are new. So I right click on the musical file that I imported, go up to keyframe assistant in the menu that pops up, and the only option available in keyframe assistant to you right now is convert audio to keyframe, so you don't have to worry about pressing the wrong option. And you'll see that audio amplitude popped up again. So I'm going to go here. And with wave warp, I'm going to open wave warp. I'm going to use the shy tool because I have a very small screen right now. So to prevent myself from having to navigate all these layers, I'm going to put everything on shy, which is this little guy right here. Those are shy guys. And then when you press this button right here, it says hides all layers for which the shy switch is set. That means you hid the little guy, he's shy. So you hit that, and now I only have 2 layers to deal with. If you know that you just want to make a quick edit, but you have very little space, you can also press the tilde key. The tilde is the little squiggly line that is below escape, and what it does is it gives you a whole screen, just like so, of whatever panel you're currently in. It's okay. I also eat hot Cheetos. You guys just can't hear me. It's a special trick I've developed. So from the amplitude effect, it creates keyframes from the base of the music that you have. So I'm gonna delete the left and the right channel because there's no difference, and just work with the both channels option. The slider is here. You can use this whip tool. You just grab it and drop it here. So I'm gonna do the difference in wave height. And now I'm gonna experiment with that. So and just repeating again, the music I have is from the upcoming artist Zeal. This is her real voice, like she sounds like this in real life. I'm just hiding these 2 layers just so I can see what's going on in this layer and I don't have to focus on anything else. Patrick says tilde. Why are you sad, Tony? Can I just be honest with you guys? My favorite Cheetos are not the hot Cheetos. They're really not. I like the little puffy ones because I like to squish them in my mouth. Just those puffy ones. Okay, so alright, so this is behaving a little bit strangely. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna alt click wave height. Now what alt clicking does is it allows me to see the expression. I believe I might have done this backwards. The effect is both channels. I'm just gonna drag this down to here. Yep. So yeah, I did that backwards. What I want to do is drag this to here. Did I do that right? Nope. See, it's even telling me I did it wrong. Do, 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 do. So let's play. Alright, so this is actually right, even though it looks like this. What I'm gonna do down here is, in my expressions bar, I'm gonna put plus 100, 100. I hope this works. And that's what this looks like now. So what you're seeing here, and I'm gonna tell you what it is 100, 100 is me adding 100 to the X and the Y axis, in which case this is the wave height. So I think I added way too much to this actually. This should only be here. Whoops. And yeah, so it was adding it to the X and the Y axis of the height. So what you have now is this very ripply effect. If I added a lighter blue to this, it would probably be water. Oh, I very much know I'm coding. Or scripting, whichever one you want to call it. Korean Cheetos. What exactly is the difference between Korean Cheetos and actual Cheetos? I used to do computer science, right? I just decided I wanted to do animation. So we're here. So now this looks more like water, which I'm really glad I did this. Now I know a really good way to make water with sound. Alright, so we have that. And we also have these. So this is what our composition looks like right now. I'm just gonna play it with all three working. Alright, and then we come down here. Alright, so that's how you get graphics to react. Right now I'm using the Wave Distort tool, but with the expressions. No, I cannot hack LinkedIn for you, Patrick. Yeah. When you find something you'd rather be doing. um it's really fun. Animation, I like animation better than computer coding, but computer coding has given me an edge. I'm no longer afraid of coding when it pops up in my animation programs. It took that fear away from me. When you do the really hard stuff, it takes the every other fear you could have out of you. Um Hey Sauce Guy. Long time no see. Um I think I said it already, Patrick, I cannot hack LinkedIn for you. I'm not even sure how to use it. Um so for this one now, gonna come in here, double click this. Whoops. Made a mistake. No, I don't like how this is looking, so I'm gonna try something that I haven't tried before. I seem to be doing a Patrick, I cannot hack your LinkedIn on live stream. I can't even hack my own LinkedIn. So and that's just a matter of remembering my password. If my computer ever forgets my passwords, I think I'm gonna be locked out of most social media. What about using coding to create animations? That's actually a really interesting question because you can use code, specifically, I believe it's a combination of HTML and CSS code to create animations on websites. Most 3D animation relies heavily on code, and you can create game animations using nothing but code as well. So technically, we already create animations out of code. There's just been a lot of tools created to prevent us from having to actually look at the code as we do it. Um, for example, a lot of this, if you go into it, for example, the expressions, you will get access to the code. A lot of major studios, for example, if you hear Maya and Photoshop and all of these are industry, where did it go? Are industry software. Yeah, if you hear that they're all industry standard software, understand that a lot of the companies, they're not using the same default software that is given to you by the company. They create modifications, plugins to suit their style. There's a mobile app for Android where you can do that. I think I downloaded it and looked at it for 2 minutes, and I'm like, nope. I get that. I get that feeling every time I look at Adobe Animate, more commonly known as Flash. I try, but I just can't. And I don't even think it's because of fear. I think it's just that my soul says to me, go do something else. Is Blender considered industry standard software? I want to say yes and no. I know there are some studios that on a solid basis they use Blender. Hmm. Yeah, on a really solid basis they use Blender. Why do I say yes and no? Because in terms of industry standard, it's really Maya, 3ds Max. Yeah, it's really Maya, 3ds Max, Pixar uses RenderMan. A lot of studios make their own animation softwares. So Blender is capable of industry standard quality though. So that's why I want to say and no, because Blender regularly releases movies that are made with their software to show off the fact that they are capable of it. Yeah. Okay, so reading again. I learned some CSS animations, but I forgot it already. The same here. I learned them, I forgot them, and I probably wish I hadn't. Um, I actually learned all my HTML and CSS in Dreamweaver. So I've been in Adobe's Creative Suite for a good while now. Flash was my first intro into animation / game making. I pirated that from my Gaia Online friends. Oh, Pac, wow. How many people here were on Gaia Online? Because I think our generation kind of like grew up in Gaia. Because I remember I spent most of my days on Gaia Online just collecting items and trying to build a store, which never took off. Eventually, I just gave up and started playing the RPG game that they made. Oh, Tony, you are on Gaia too? That's cool. Yay, Gaia people. I'm assuming that reaction means that Rave was on Gaia as well. Yay. Just download some pivot animation software. Yes, I do remember the movie theater. I also played Guns. I didn't last very long. Yeah, that's exactly why I ended up playing the RPG game. And it was actually pretty good for an RPG coming from um it was actually pretty good for an RPG coming from a company that did not make RPG games for a living. They actually ended up making a second version of the RPG. I think because so many people hurt the server, they just bogged down all the servers. Hi, Fawn. Fawn is eating fried sweet potatoes. Alright, so now that I've got all of this working, I want to make this a little bit more cool for my client, if that makes sense. So let's pause this. I want to make it more cool for my client. So I'm going to go into my files and see what we've got there. I have a folder called boring stuff, which is where I keep everything like document related for my business. Can you tell paperwork is not my strong suit? It's just really not at all. Anyone know any business students I can make friends with? I really dislike paperwork. What is with that emoji, Rave? That emoji looks like it's up to no good. Bye, Sauce. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go with this ellipse tool. And my thing just jumped, so I'm just checking to make sure I didn't draw like the world's tiniest circle. So if I hold shift, so holding shift like in every other Adobe program will get you a grand total of a perfect circle. Now I'm gonna go here. This is the shape layer. I'm gonna turn this on. I'm experimenting right now, so it says pat, so it still says none. Does this not count as a path? So I think it counts as a path. I'm not sure how to use this, so we're just gonna... Alright, so we're just gonna... We're gonna experiment. Whatever works, works. Whatever doesn't work, doesn't work. But as long as there's something that I can... Let's see. What on this would I drag to here? It still says path none, so I'm just gonna drag this and drag it to this. And nothing happened. So it's obviously not the way to do it. I don't have a folder for that. That's what the that's what the well, it was originally supposed to be for not safe for work content, but it turned into fluffy things and memes. So in the art community Discord, that's actually the folder for just like shit posts. I don't actually have one on my computer. Whatever is in there is what I look at when I'm ready to just like be a memer. Alright, so what I want to do is there's this effect I've seen on there's this effect I've seen on Facebook where they have it coming out of a circle, which I really, really want to replicate. So let's go there and let's do... I'm gonna actually move this down to red and do blend overlapping and see if it works. Whoops. Oh, these are two different things. I forgot. So I am... So if I hit here, let's see this. I'm not sure what's going on with the blue one, so I'm gonna go there. As you can see, my naming conventions are very poor right now. Don't follow. So I'm gonna try making the path with the pen tool. And this is not the world's most perfect circle. I'm just checking to see if it works or if it registers on this, and it does not. So, delete. Maybe if I draw it while on this layer. Oh, we might be getting somewhere. So path mass 1. Aha! Yay! So I figured stuff out. Whoops. Stop it. Whoopsie daisy. Alright, so I'm just gonna lock these two layers so that they don't give me any trouble. And this layer as well. So I created a mask on this layer, and I discovered that Shift Alt there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that at none, invert that mask, and if I click out of it, it does that. So now I want the shape. I don't want a bounding box because that's gonna take that off. And I'm gonna come here and in this right here, we have the maximum height. So I don't like this section down here because it's that's what it was. So it's actually below the actual composition itself is not where it's supposed to be. So if I select the mask now, I move the mask itself up. It was at the end of the composition. That's what its problem was. It was throwing a tantrum because of that. Do here. Alright, so we're breaking this down, figuring stuff out, feeling special. Aw, thank you, Pat. Let's see. I'm just reading. Why do you print? Okay, let's go. This is how Squidward felt in art class with SpongeBob. Fun. My break was interesting. I did relax a lot. Went on the beach, drew mandalas, hung out with some friends, went to a tea house, and had a lot of stuff happen. How does one become a memer? Just keep going. Trust me. When you're one, you'll know. There will be a moment of all my files sit on my desktop. Oh my goodness, Rave. That terrifies me. Do you hide all the files on your desktop like I do? I just use the option to hide everything on my desktop when I don't feel like organizing it. How does one become a memer? It sounds like my neighbor listening to the Weeble theme on repeat. It is on repeat. When you're making stuff for music, you listen to the same song over and over and over and over and over. It's the reason why animators are not the most excited about their film when they have to go watch it again in theaters. Pack I fell out of bed and hurt my arm. What happened, Tony? Doesn't even use her desktop icon grid snap. Probably not. But why would you though if you're not really like... Okay, so this height is kind of high. I don't want it to be that high. But what I do want to do is... I'm going to delete that. This one has audio waveform. So I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to redraw the mask again. I'm going to delete this effect, go to audio spectrum, drag it onto here, and using the same mask 1 path, that would be the issue. So I didn't have the music hooked up. If you ever drop something on and you don't see the effect, just go through each section of your effect to make sure that you have stuff just like lined up properly before you start deleting things. It's kind of like making sure you're on the right layer in Photoshop. Alright, so with this, I noticed that the height isn't really that good. The frequency bands, I want to increase them. So I didn't really go through what each of these does. So I'm going to click out of this, and so the start point, it's not really across the page right now, but when it's in a line, you can decide where it starts and where it ends on this. Similarly here, for path, if you have a path in the layer or a mask in the layer, you can hook it up to that and get it in different shapes, different effects. I'm still experimenting, so don't take me at 100% here. I don't know what use polar path does. I'm about to find out. And now I only have like the tiniest version here, so I'll explore that later. That looks like it could be fun. Let's do here. And then we go. So I've got maximum height, I've got inside color and outside color. I'm gonna turn that one off. Scroll down. Since I have an option of side A and side B, I'm just gonna use side B because I really just want it to go outwards. And instead of digital, I'm gonna use analog lines so I can get that sort of electric feel to it. I want to increase the amount of that, so the end frequency, maybe if I think if I bring that down, I might get more out of it. And if I turn down the amount of frequency bands, okay, now it just looks like a pulsating circle. So that's just gonna be it's just gonna go right back up to 2000. And I'm gonna start at frequency 1. Nope. So total madman. Probably using large icons. I was taking out my contracts and kind of judged the length of my bed. Huh? Oh, okay. I was taking out my contacts. Pack is right. You were probably playing Superman. Maybe you saved the teddy bears or something? I'm not sure. Like, Tony, what are you doing? Don't. Wait, shouldn't you be taking your contacts out in the bathroom? You know, take it out, have your case, a mirror, nice lighting. You know, all these important things. Alright, so I'm just gonna reset this and go back to the mask. Change the source. And I think I might have. I think the endpoint on this is a reset, right? Yeah. Mask, source. Let's go 1. We really want it to be side B. Okay, so my main problem with this right now is that this right here isn't. How do I put this? It's not affecting the whole circle. I'm gonna go from here to here. I'm gonna allow for hue interpolation of about 90 degrees. And so now the color is changing, but it's not really giving me as much movement as I want. I'll never know. Nope, I'm a pro at taking them out now. That means you've gotten comfortable, Tony. That's never a good thing to be when it comes to your eyes. I got comfortable with putting my glasses on, leaned forward, and kind of like accidentally launched them off my face like a catapult. Because, you get like, and it kind of just went flying. Luckily for me, it was the fashion pair and not my prescription pair. Because, one of those things is more expensive than the other. I'll never know how people can actually apply eye drops. It's impossible. It's not impossible. I don't know how they do it. I can't do it myself. But it's not impossible. It's doable. Plenty doable. So you've got inside color, outside color. I'm using both audio waveform. Audio waveform has interesting start points. I'm not quite sure what all of these do, but I'm gonna change this color to, cancel. Not this one, but this one to that blue that I'm using, which is giving me that sort of greenish effect because it's attempting to blend the two colors. If I move the thickness to about 2, we get there. And what I'm really going to do to kind of make this effect a little bit more impressive is I'm going to overlay them, duplicate them, and try and get them to all sort of line up around this edge right here. I've only got until 10 o'clock. So we'll see how this goes. But so far, I think this is a pretty good effect. Anything with... and do that 2 times a week. What do you mean, Tony? Do you launch your glasses off your face like I do, or do you apply eye drops 2 times a week? Anything with eyes makes me freak out, but What do you mean I'm going to cheat? What are you talking about? Cheat where, Tony? What am I cheating on? I have no clue what you're talking about, Tony. Mona is not doing anything that she can't admit to in a court of law. I'm going to rename this to waveform, just so I know which effect is on what. Rename this to spectrum. This is not an endorsement for the company. Never had it. Not quite sure Wanta has it. And there we go. Okay, so one is doing way too much movement, and the other one is doing not enough movement. Can you get a commercial pilot license with I don't know that. I believe that's a question for Fonpack. I think Fontaine can probably answer that way better than I can. Um, except for sunglasses to contain my coolness. Um, Patrick wants to know if they're Lightning McQueen sunglasses, and I'm kind of curious too. Like, do they make you go faster? Like, come on, Fawn, fess up. Do they make you go faster? Do you have secret like superpowered sunglasses? Okay, so we want to go here. Maximum height. Let's put that at 200. Whoopsie daisy. Wrong one. We're looking at this. Let's bring it down a bit. And I brought it down too much. Alright, so that's pretty good, I believe. That's kind of the amount of movement that I'm going for. I might put some particle effects in there, you know, just to spice things up. Left. Alright, so now that I have, I'm just gonna put this back to mono, which is basically the same as both in amplitude. Nope. Well, we're gonna just put that down there. I haven't really gone through these. The thickness is kind of self-explanatory. Softness, that's also sort of self-explanatory now that I think about it. It's basically how sharp your line appears to be. Audio offset, maximum height, path. We're pretty good. So I'm just gonna lock this and come down here, turn that off, and we're gonna deal with this one because this is our troublemaker of the day. So as you can see, there's little to no movement on this. Movement is kind of like a wish and a dream for this one. So we're gonna first we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna go to 500 and hope that we get. No, but it could be a very nice blinking ball. So maximum height, frequency bands, let's put that at 500. Okay, that looks, I like that. Now, if I could get it to be higher. Yes. Okay, so if I put the maximum height up, I like that. So it turns out my problem with this was actually the amount of frequency bands in it, so my end frequency is 500, my frequency bands are 100. And I fixed that quite by accident. So I'm just gonna read the comment section for a bit. Except for holding back my coolness. I wish I had Kachow TM sunglasses. I I really want to know how you got the trademark sign on Fontane's name pack. I really do. Fontana. There's actually a pharmacy by that name in Jamaica, Fontana Pharmacy. So, fun. If you own a pharmacy, let me know. Can you be my apprentice? Um, Check me later. Send me a message on Discord. We can talk about that. On a serious note, check me later. I don't know what you mean by apprentice. Oh god, Fontaine. Why didn't you tell me? I've been going to that pharmacy since I was like 3. Been going to that pharmacy since I was 3, Fawn. Why didn't you tell me? Fawn, I'm upset. So, what I'm doing now is I've decided that I like audio spectrum much better than I like audio waveform. And thus, what Mona will be doing is overlapping several, there we go. Copy. Several types of audio waveforms, sorry, audio spectrums. So I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna change this from digital to analog lines. I'm not sure why it's freaking out. And as I said that, I just figured out why it's freaking out. So it was on full resolution. So I turned it down to 3rd again. Okay, so these lines are kind of like really close to each other. So we're gonna go here, and the reason nothing's happening there is simply, again I say, in After Effects, if nothing is happening on your layer, make sure to go through each section of your layer and just double check to make sure everything's connected to what it should be connected to. In this case, audio layer was connected to the layer that I copied it from, and so it wasn't reacting to music but to the spectrum layer, and so it was always going to be a direct mirror of the layer that I copied it from. So now that I have that and this, what it is that it has, and it's not, it is what it is. So I'm gonna come here now, I'm gonna go to digital analog lines, dots, and I think dots is getting covered by the lines, so I'm gonna actually go down deeper into the reds with this. And now you can see those red lines there. See those wonderful red lines? I'm just gonna duplicate again. I'm just gonna paste actually this time. And you see it's connected to itself on this one. I changed it to that. And now I am going to do analog lines and hit play and see what happens. So because this is on top of it, so I'm gonna increase the frequency bands on this and see. So increase the frequency bands. I'm gonna increase them some more. Whoops. What did I just do? Pause. The frequency bands I'm going to increase to 1000. And I think that's basically just making it a smoother transition, but we'll see. And I'm going to do the end frequency of this one. I'm going to add 50 more hertz. It is hertz, I believe, or decibels. Alright, so let's go all the way to 1000 more and see what happens. And so okay, so I'm actually gonna go down to spectrum and add 1000 to this as well. Whoopsie daisy, so I'm gonna drag that out because I'm tired of listening to the same section of music over and over again. Gonna move it down and hit play. What's happening now is my computer is freaking out because I'm asking it to render stuff it's not used to rendering. Tony joined the Discord. I can help you shape the story there. I want to be the person who writes the story for the lock people in the computer juice. Sure, why not? So, the Discord link is actually in the description, but I'm just gonna copy it and paste it here. There we go. Oh, well, thank you for joining, Tony. Welcome to our Discord. You don't have to fear the Not Safe for Work channel. It's probably the only Discord in which you don't have to fear the Not Safe for Work channel, because we never actually used it for its intended purpose. Art chat is basically where it is, and everything else is self-explanatory. We have frequent dad joke competitions. Alright, so we've got this. Alright, so I think the dot one is this one. Yes, it is. And it's still on 500, so what I want to do with it is... I want to increase the frequency bands to... There we go. I know frequency bands look like the lines, so we're gonna go digital and see what that looks like. If I move that down, what does that look like? Alright, so now that it's digital, Alright, so I'm liking that. So what I'm gonna do with this now is hit scale and put it at 100. And I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Can I align all of these without having to go through a whole lot? Position. So if I come here and I hit scale on all of these. So I wanted it to scale inwards. And it didn't scale to center. Which is making me a bit concerned. Because I'm not sure why it's not scaling to center. And we have our answer. So these two compositions are not lined up with each other. And I get the feeling that if I line them up with each other, I'm gonna end up with issues. Ow! I think I just shocked myself. Not quite sure how. Or why. Paxes don't go into the edit. I think maybe I should create an actual not safe for work channel. Because the one that we have is kind of just like masquerading as a not safe. Oh, I actually did play that Uno site that you guys told me about last time. It was really, really interesting. Alright, so now I'm gonna go here. This one has frequency bands of 100. I'm gonna put that at 500. Alright, so now I just want to do one more thing of this. And it's gonna be with particle effects. So this is my final experiment. I have an hour left. But before I do all of that, I wanna do the text. Wait a minute. Did I just traumatize my computer? So, oh, that's my favorite font. This one, Fusaka Standard. I think it's really cool, but I have a font. Ooh, I like that. This one is called Continual, and I think it sort of suits this. So I'm gonna move it. Whoops. Zeal. Do that. Hit that. Hit P is a shortcut for position, and using the x-axis, I'm just gonna move that in. So you can just click and drag to move stuff where you want them to be. Kind of just spitball in it. Do that. And then we're gonna change the color to there. And I'm gonna look for an effect with color, because I believe this would be, oh, American spelling of color. I'm sorry. Fill color wipe, flicker color scale. I'm gonna drop that on there. Whoops. On that. Whoa. No! Ew! No. We're just gonna do flicker color. Oh. So I'm gonna check what this effect actually does. I've never used it before. Never, ever, ever used it before. Okay, so the text is... I don't see a transformation tab, which is... I mean an effects tab, which is very interesting. And I believe it's because it's here. So fill hue, hue stroke. I think I want this one to be 0. Let's try that. But I'm not sure I like that hue, so... I don't like that color, so I'm gonna just Control Z, get rid of the whole 9 yards of it. And it says fill and stroke. I've never seen color white. Alright, so I've never seen these tabs before, but I think I can probably do an expression with them, so I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna take this eyedropper tool and grab the color from here. Take this eyedropper tool and grab the color from... Oh! So, grab them one at a time. That will probably help me out. The range selector, fill color. It says start and end at 100%. So let's see how this works with it. So right now the words are here. Okay, so we've got some keyframes here. And I'm willing to bet, yep, wipe happens in there. So this could be an interesting one to put an expression on. But before I do that, I want to put a color overlay on this layer. I'm just gonna overlay it on that. Now, whoopsie daisy. Or, you know what? Let's not even get that complicated. Let's just go new. Solid. And I want to move this out of the way. I'm gonna take that color. Okay. And then I'm gonna change its blending mode. Where is it? Where is it? Blending mode. There we go. And we're just gonna hit overlay. And overlay is not really doing it for this, so let's go soft light. Nope. I'm just experimenting. I feel like I spent my whole... That's stencil alpha. Not stenciluma. Stenciluma actually looks quite nice. Not silhouette alpha, because still got no clue what that one's for. Luminosity, nope. Color? Um, so I kind of only wanted it for the blue sections. I feel like I missed a few steps in between that. Mm, probably could have gotten the alpha channel and just created a mask over it. And that seems like a lot of work for me to do right now, so I'm just gonna go with not that one. No, I think I'm just gonna go with the where is it? I think I'm gonna go with Stenciluma. And from here, I'm gonna switch back to the arrow tool and play Uno with you, Tony. Oh, hey, Mary! Or Matt. I call you Mary because you say you prefer it, so I will. Yay, you made it! Um, you want me to play Uno with you? Sure, why not? We can have a whole Uno competition. Just not tonight. Maybe tomorrow. Tonight, I got works to do. And so I want to hit scale on that. I want to make all of these guys shy. Go be a shy layer for a while. And there we go. I want to drag. Oh, I'm going to click Alt Scale. There we go. And okay, so you see the word kind of shrunk there? That's because I forgot to add something. So I just want it to go from its original size. So I'm just gonna hit plus. This is where the plus 100 comes in the most. That's comma 100. And trying to figure out why it looks like that. Maybe I was supposed to use these. It's been so long since I've had expressions in After Effects. There we go. So I used the wrong brackets and it threw a tantrum. So it threw a nice little tantrum because I did that. So it did that, and as you can see, audio amplitude makes this a whole lot easier on me. It does change like this. So the last thing I'm gonna do to this is try and add some particle effects to it. So I'm gonna take that off, make that shy, make that shy. I'm actually gonna lock that. Come over here with the rectangle tool and draw a whole thing for this. And then the stroke. I'm gonna scroll down. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. My whole thing is to experiment, get a feel for how these things work. And then when I'm using them in actual projects. Let me see if I can get on the PC. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Tetris off. He's skipping training. Tony, what kind of training are you going through? Alright, so we've got, this is the visualizer that we have. Alright, and so let's go now. Edit, copy, edit, paste. So here we are. And we're gonna go particle. I don't know which one of these it's gonna work better, so we just gonna try one. Gonna drop particle playground on this. Now, haha, ha ha ha. Particle. Now, this actually brought up another aspect of After Effects that is really important for you guys to sort of like know. It applies effects in the order you put them on in, so there we go. The producer is here. Ooh. So why? Alright, so I don't see anything in here that allows me to control I'm going to try. So it allows me to control the texture, the color mapping, the transfer mode. So it composites, extras, depth cue, random seed, light direction. So I've actually used this one before. So far, it's not allowing me to, let's see, affect the type of producer. So I'm gonna actually change that back to okay, so that's what that looks like, and it actually looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna up the birth rate, which means that more of them are gonna come per second. The longevity I'm gonna put to 5 seconds. I'm gonna leave the position where it is. The birth size I'm gonna leave, but the depth size I want it to be 1. So they look like they're becoming larger. The size variation I'm gonna put at 70%. The opacity map I'm gonna put leave it at birth to death. Custom color mapping, I ain't even going to try and touch that right now. Composite with original, we're going to leave that there. And what I want from the physics tab, now I'm going to go through, this is an explosive animation. I'm going to go through each of these tabs, just quickly editing because I want to get this rendering in media encoder so that I can have this out. Tony's training to be the next legendary Super Saiyan. I can play a couple of matches, but not for long. Guys, are you playing Tetris or Uno? Which one? Alright, so the animation is explosive. I'm actually gonna change it to direction axis, cone axis. I want the gravity to kind of be 0. Alright, so explosive. I'm gonna change the gravity back to 0.5. No resistance, extra angle. There's a whole other thing here, but the animation, I want it to be twirl. And I'm trying to get the birth rate maybe to 10. The velocity, I'm gonna put that at 5, and that should give it more. I'm gonna put that more back on explosive, and we'll see. Alright, so that's what the visualizer looks like right now. Oh, it's Tetris. Okay, that seems cool. Let's go. That's what the visualizer looks like right now. I'm actually gonna drag that spectrum all the way out. And I think I like that, so let's drag one onto Zeo. No, before I even do anything else, I'm just gonna hit composite with original. Physics. I'm gonna get rid of gravity here. And I'm gonna change the particle. So particle right now is line. Nope. Nope. What were you thinking, Mona? Stop it. There we go. Cause I knew something wasn't working there. And now we've added a bit more texture to the words. Now we have that. Close. It's explosive. I want the initial velocity to be about 7. Velocity to be 7. Initial velocity is 2. And now the words have a little bit more dynamism to them. It's subtle, but it's not overpowering. And the birth rate, let's put that up to 9. Alright, so what we're seeing now is the word flying off, everything goes there, and we stop. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, I accidentally clicked the layer. So, I'm just gonna save that. And this is gonna be used to be visualizer. Alright, so alright. Alright, so that's what we're left with. Basically, this visualizer right here. And so I saved it. That's basically the end of it. Alright, so the visualizer is done. I'm going to send it to render right now because I'm trying to get it out. Before that, but this is basically what we have right now. Guys, thanks for staying through me struggling through it. I just gonna go over again. This has several effects on it. There is, and I'm gonna bring them up again. You get Adobe After Effects, whether you buy it legally or you crack it. Mine is legal, because working with clients. So we've got, whoop. So we've got audio spectrum. I showed you how to use audio waveform. I used audio spectrum because it has more, it allows you more control over the frequency. So it gives you control over the end frequency and start frequency. And what that is you can determine at what point your visualizer starts to react. So if you don't want it to react to any of the lower tones, but you want it to react to the higher tones, then you do that. Frequency bands determines how many of the dots or lines or anything is there. Maximum height is the maximum height. These are allowed to go away from its origin. Audio spectrum also allows you to choose the side. So I'm gonna change it for this. So I think I might leave that one. All right. And so it allows you to choose which side of the line you want. Audio spectrum also allows you to conform your pat to a mask. So if you do any animations on your mask, you can, in fact, cause this pat to move around, disappear. You can confine it to any animations. This was just a quick visualizer. I wasn't really sure of a lot of these effects, so I was experimenting. But I believe the end product is actually quite good. I like the color scheme and everything. We went over expressions today without having to actually script. The only real bit of editing, apart from dragging the whip across. Oh, bye, Pack. Drive home safely. Pack said cracked. Mine is legal. Autodesk gets $40 something out of my account once a month. Not Autodesk, Adobe. My Autodesk is legal too. I can't say Autodesk never gave me anything. They gave me a scholarship, and I was really, really happy for that. Look into different companies. If you are, this is just like a tidbit. If you're in school and you want to do stuff, look into different companies for sponsorship. Large corporations like sponsoring students and people who are doing things they consider worthwhile or in line with their mission statement. So, on a serious note, look into these things. And I'm just going to hit save again because I don't want to lose this. And see if you can't get some funding for any projects you might have coming up. I realized that this thing is not showing. Is it? No, it's not. It's not showing what I have on my screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, go to intermission. And I'm going to go to game capture, add source. Alright, I'm just going to post the final video. I'll also post the link to the video. It's going to be posted tonight after the stream and after it finishes rendering, which on that note, you guys will get to see it. I'll post a link to it in the community Discord as well, and a link to the artist's YouTube and Instagram, just so you guys know where I got this from. She is a really amazing singer, as you guys have heard all night. Thank you for stopping by, guys. I'm just gonna put this to render now. Save and file. Oh, teaching you about rendering. So in After Effects, you have two ways to render. You hit File, and you go to export. You can export it via media encoder and or render queue. I tend to do media encoder because I like to be able to work while things are rendering. I'm setting up a whole render machine in and of itself, so we're not going to deal with that most of the times. But I'm going to render it now. I'm going to end the stream here for tonight. Thank you for coming to my welcome back stream. And whoopsie daisy, wrong one. See you guys next week. I'm going to give you all my hearts. I have lots of hearts, guys. Next week, I will show you some more illustrations. I will also tell you more about the Locktown GIF. As Tony says, he wants to write a story for the little lock people in the computer juice. I'm pretty sure Neenoo's gonna drive herself spare. And I'll let you guys know what's going on. Again, thank you so much for coming. Bye-bye. Thank you for all your support. Wait, where's my... Oh. Hee hee. I haven't been able to use that emoji in forever. Bye, guys.